That's how you start a YouTube stream. Boom, right there. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another Recreating Movie Magic with Colin and Maurika.
Hello.
We're back at it. We're making the same Kill Bill scene.
Yes, we are. It's going to be fun. So I'm excited to get to a final product with this one. Hopefully. And then we'll be moving on to recreating other things, scenes, events, situations.
Magic.
Exactly.
We're trying to start from scratch here. We're just looking at the desktop environment. I want to make sure that we show how to open the tools up. Just to remind you what movie scene we're doing. It's the One Ticket to Tokyo, Please scene from Kill Bill 1. So let's watch it again. You guys, you had to have forgotten how she asked for a ticket to Tokyo. Let's look.
One ticket to Tokyo, please.
No, look at that part. We're not doing that part. We asked for the budget. They would not let us buy 5 motorcycles.
Yeah, just the first part.
So last week, we can pretend it was last week. We were doing most of the masking. We were color grading.
Yes.
We were doing that cool set of moving colors. Used a cool cinematic term for this.
Motion blur.
Motion blurring.
Is that what I said?
Yeah, it's a cool transition shot. Today we're going to start with that airplane prop shot, which is right here. So that's what we're going to get to first. We're going to create that in Blender. And then we'll go back and kind of clean up some of the masking and stuff. I don't know if we'll get to that cool map shot. We might actually just reuse what they have here. We'll see what we got time for. I'll let it rip for like 60 minutes, 90 minutes here. Hope everybody's having a great Friday. Hope you're excited for the basketball and hockey games this weekend. It's starting to get nice out. Love living here. Okay, so I'm on sketchfab.com. And I've searched 737. I'm not a plane guy, but I think that's like a 737 is what that's supposed to look like right there. So I've searched 737. I want something that's downloadable. I want something that is free to reuse creatively like this. And I would really kind of like a GLTF model if I could get it. That would be kind of cool. So let's look around at some options. So got this guy right here, looks cool. Looks like the same user has one without textures. I kind of like that this has a red texture on it. We got this 737 here. Got what they call a very basic 737. And lots of stuff that is not airplanes.
Yeah, how did a spoon get into the search results?
Yeah, it's like a staircase that's staircase number 7376. And so it's just their search isn't very optimized sometimes.
And you said GTLF model? What's that?
GLTF is a file format that's really well equipped to be used on the web. And it also is a single file. It's a mesh and the textures together in like a composited, what you call a binary file. And it's just very easy to work with in Blender.
Okay.
It doesn't make you deal with the materials separate. Just kind of my pet 3D file format, personally.
Well, that actually looks like the plane.
It totally does. This is that Australian airline Qantas with the very graphic designer kangaroo on the back. It's like if Nike designed a kangaroo.
Now I want to know who designed that plane.
And from the single perspective that we're looking at it, like you can't tell that all the text is raised, which is obviously not like what an airplane would look like. but it might be kind of cool for if we're going to be using dynamic light, because I'm going to render this in Eevee in Blender just to be faster, and so that might kind of look cool and give some shadowing. So let's see what the file format's like on that. Username YoBoy to cite them there.
Thank you, yo boy.
It looks like
Appreciate it.
they made this 2 years ago. Okay, so we've got an OBJ here. I can work with an OBJ. We'll download that. The texturing and stuff might be a little wacky, but then let's look at this other one, which is much more minimal, kind of low poly in points. Oh, 3ds, not gonna be able to do it. That's like the 3ds Max file format, so don't really want to deal with that conversion right now. This is a very minimal kind of design. I think I was looking at this one earlier, and it's going to want to be an OBJ. So let's open up that 737 we just downloaded. We'll extract those files. Got them here. Extracting again. Well, when Sketchfab zips something that's already a zip. Go grab the texture. And while that's opening up, I'm just trying to look at it in Paint. I'm not really going to edit it there, so if it can't open, I'll still try to open it in Blender.
So you can open a 3D file in Paint?
Paint 3D is dope.
Wow.
It's really good for, I use it in an embarrassing amount of stuff, like workflows, but the masking tool in Paint 3D is really good. And if you're trying to take like a 3D model and do like single angle renders in a really basic graphic design, you can rip through that really quickly in Paint 3D. It has like cool 2D, 3D modes. Like you can also use it as like a vector editor, like because you can 3Dify any image, and so you can like be compositing them in the Y as you compose. Which
Really?
Sure, in Creative Cloud, there's obviously better things to do that with, but like if you're a Windows user, it's already on your machine, kind of neat.
Paint has evolved over the years. I know we talked about this before, but I just remember like literally being able to do the bare minimum in Paint. So to see where it is now is amazing.
Yeah, it's my dirty little secret is how much I use Paint. People, when they look over my shoulder and see I have it open, cringe.
Now I wonder if I can get it on a Mac.
I don't know what I was just talking to somebody about this the other day that I don't know what the Apple
Equivalent.
equivalent software is. to
Yeah,
Paint.
I don't know either what that would be. Procreate? I don't
Maybe
think
it's Procreate. Or like Notepad is like picking up a lot of power too, right? So, oh look at that, it did open in Paint. So I'll be able to show off what we're talking about here. So it defaults to 2D view. Click 3D view. You can do stuff with it. But here is what its real power is, because it can export GLTFs.
Oh, so you can actually convert the file format in Paint.
Yeah,
What a shortcut.
pretty handy, because that is something Blender kind of struggles with sometimes, is some file format stuff. So let's call this Boeing. There's lots of, for the Blender defenders who are watching this, there's lots of plugins you can use and second-party tools that make Blender really powerful for this, but like until very recently, GLTF, you needed to download an extension to work with it in Blender, which was very odd. Or to import it, I suppose. So I just made a GLB, which is a GLTF that is further binaried. It's like the more modern version of GLTF.
Do you know, I don't know if I'm asking too many questions, but when you say binary, like what exactly does that mean?
Whoa, that's a good question. A binary file is a computer file that is not a text file. The term binary file is often used as a term meaning non-text file. So I think the reason that we refer to this as being a binary file type, and that like it's a meaningful term, is because OBJs have those .mtl files, which are text files,
Okay, that makes sense.
and just refer to like text delineated sections of the material, and try to create like use text as the connecting point to like, you know, if you're wrapping a flat map around a basketball to try to make a globe, like they're a bad metaphor, but like their equivalent is to like write the word America on the basketball and write America on the back of the map, and do the same thing with China, and like wrap enough of those points together that it maps correctly. Whereas GLB doesn't do that. It's all one non-text file.
Okay.
I think. If anybody from Kronos Group is watching this and wants to correct me or wants to come give a talk at the NC State Libraries, hit me up. go.ncsu.edu/Colin.
That would actually be an interesting talk. I'm always interested in the language that's used to describe certain things when it comes to computing.
Okay, we got an airplane. I think we want to delete the wheels. And I think that might also delete the text. Yeah, that's great. I like that a lot because I don't want that text.
It's no longer quantity.
Oh, but I have to ungroup some things first. Oh, it's that, okay. Yeah, because it was converted over from OBJ by a software that's not Blender. It's grouping some things by material. It's kind of annoying. Let's go to edit mode. Let's be a little more precise with what I'm deleting.
Yeah, the plane in the
Oh, I don't have.
actual scene only says air on the back. which is
Really?
interesting. Yeah, it's not even an
I like
actual airline.
I like the branding. Like they developed this entire visual brand for like their fake airline. Like
Yeah.
the ticket, how the ticket matches is super cool.
Very color coordinated.
Are you into fake companies for movies and stuff? Like, are you somebody who would?
I was actually seeing a lot of videos on TikTok about like Pixar Easter eggs that they put in all the films, and there was one, and it's this company that I guess shows up in multiple Pixar films that they're saying kind of like predicts a future where we eventually end up with Wall-E. I don't know if anyone's
Is it
seen
Big and
that.
Low?
I think that might. What did say that one more time?
Is Big and Low the like department store brand?
Yes,
that, like,
I think that is
yeah.
it. They said that it shows up in multiple films from Pixar, and there's this like through line as far as like how they kind of capitalize on like issues going on in the world, but also, of course, it's capitalism.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, in that sense, I think that it's really interesting.
I think Pizza Planet is in a bunch of
Yeah,
non-Toy
Pizza
Story
Planet
movies too.
appears. Very interesting. Like, I think they said in one movie there you see the Pizza Planet truck or van or something, and it's not Toy Story.
Yeah.
I don't remember exactly what the movies were, but
People go crazy with the Pixar lore, like deep lore.
yeah. They
Yeah,
were
definitely.
calling it, like Pixar theory.
Yeah, I've like heard that theory of like it's the entire Pixar universe is about AI and like that the toys have become sentient and it's like later the cars become sentient.
Yes, exactly. Very interesting stuff if you're into Pixar films.
Okay, that's looking like a plane that's in flight rather than landing. Here's where I'm going to make a fool of myself because I'm going to try. Let's see what all is. So this is a cool thing about like the predicament we were in, where things are grouped as using the same these. So I think what's happening here is that anything that was using the same material within the OBJ was made into like the same mesh layer in the Blender when it converted over into the GLB that got opened in Blender, I suppose. And so like the Spirit of Australia is the same color as this like perimeter of the jet engine, and so it grouped them as like one mesh. But Blender like has functionality that's pretty like core to how it does editing that like helps with that. So by selecting that layer, here it's called Mesh ID6, you know, a kind of a nonsense made-up name by the editor it was made in. And then you go into edit mode, and you know this is like the core, one of the core paradigms of Blender is that like the modes are very different and have different functionality, but selection works different in the functionalities. So like the thing I was kind of clowning myself by not having toggled on, because it's on default on my machine when I open Blender, is X-ray mode. So X-ray mode lets you like select out to infinity in whatever vector you're looking at. So I can select all this text up here now. I think I got all the mesh. And I can delete those vertices without having deleted the entire layer. So that's what you were watching me like get messed up by. And I wonder if we can also do the same thing for these charming kangaroos. Because I would like to put a wolf there.
Oh, now that's a good idea.
Yeah, that's, since we're, like we were talking about how they made their envelope match the thing, and I realized we have an NC State envelope, so yeah, I'm gonna have to be less ambitious. Here we go. Oh, there's actually a hole left because it's part of the merge. I thought it was like it's kind of funny. I might be able to fix that. Let's see. I'm not going to mess with this too long. Oh, what modifier is that? Hole filling in Blender is like, it's not a remesh, I don't think. That's is it a build? It's not. Is it? Maybe it is a remesh, I don't know. It's interesting, it does the whole thing. So we need. Pretty proud of that.
Yay!
Yeah, so that was remesh actually working for me. The issue I have with remesh is often that it loses the color as it remeshes. You can do some really wacky stuff with remesh. You can like voxelize stuff and make it look like it was made out of bricks, like from a 3D model. It's cool for 3D printing especially.
Is it coincidental that the color red looks very similar to NC State red?
That's what I was looking for in the Sketchfab results. That's what made me jump at this crazy kangaroo plane. Let's go to one of my favorite sites on the internet, brand.ncsu.edu. If you're making anything at State and you're using the State brand, we're seeing a lot of State brand this weekend as we have the Canes playing at Carter Finley, and I think it's really cool how the brands are kind of merged in that way as like co-tenants down there. And it's like neat to watch how have you seen the Stadium Series logo for the game this weekend? It's like very, I really like it. I've seen it on like the street signs and everything, and didn't realize what they had done with it, where you've got the oak tree kind of in the background there. So it's like elements of the Canes design. It definitely looks like the NHL shield. It's got like a font that you could totally see on a State football thing or something. Kind of into it. But this definitely, whoever made this, for sure, has visited this page.
Yeah, every color is represented.
Yeah.
As far as red and black.
Yeah, and I'm sure there's some story about that the Canes probably picked those colors when they came to Raleigh because of them being co-tenants with State. But again, if you know about that, come talk to the libraries. Let's grab. So for anyone who wasn't with us last time, this is the envelope we used. I don't know if you've looked at that again since we shot with it, but I'm just going to throw a simple NC State brick on there, and we can download it in PNG because that obviously has the extra 8 bits of transparency. Do this minimum one.
Do you remember if this envelope is a recent department?
It's not. No, that was gifted to me by Pete Schreiner, who shares a passion for like intra-office envelopes that I'm really into as well, and so I have that, and I have a couple other manila envelopes that match it, but I haven't, during the time I've been here, ever used intra-office mail in the way that I imagine it used to be essential.
Yeah, I wish it had a year on it so we would know, like, when was this used?
Exactly, yeah. Yeah, like I have one that has almost all the slots filled of who it's been sent around to, and I've looked up some of the names, and it's people who haven't worked here in 20 years or something in some cases.
Wow.
That's like I don't know, I'm very into like kind of the folk history of workplaces. Like if you're somebody who's like 30 years older than us, imagine how different like the workplaces you've worked in have been.
Yeah, sometimes people come to the Digital Media Lab on the Friends of the Library tours just to see what's going on, and I've gotten people in who were former students or might have worked at the university previously, and they're always so amazed at how the libraries have changed since the last time they were here. So I can only imagine how the culture has changed as well.
Oh, it's an images plane, yeah. Why is that? This is the thing about Blender being so customizable. It's just like you forget that something you've added is not by default selected. So you gotta go in preferences, gotta do add-ons. I think the word plane ironically will work. There you go. I hadn't thought of the fact that that's kind of an unintentional pun. So we're adding this add-on called Import Images as Planes, which is a first-party add-on, I believe. No, it is. It's official. So, like, in case you've never looked at that list, these are all like official add-ons that can have destructive interference with other features built into Blender, so they're toggled off by default, but you can just toggle them back on. And this GLTF export format, I'm pointing at the screen, is like cycles and GLTF import and like all these things that feel like they're core to Blender still live there, so you can toggle them off as well. So now in my imports, I should see images as planes. Go to my downloads, put the brick in.
Ooh,
Kind of enormous.
quite large.
We can scale that down. How many times? 100 times smaller, maybe? And yes, you can tell I'm not actually that good at Blender by the fact that I use the mouse as much as I do. Anybody who's
So
watching.
experts don't use the mouse?
No, it's all keyboard.
Oh,
Like,
wow.
we have some students in VR who are much more talented Blender users than I am, and if you unplugged their mouse, they wouldn't notice for a couple of minutes probably. Like scaling and rotation, that's like a common hotkey that other people use that I almost never use, because I'm just so used to kind of tinkering in game engines and wanting to like line things up the way I want them lined up. That could be a little bigger. Let's go to 0.017. That's cool. And then because I'm following the brand guidelines, I'm not going to make it, I'm going to keep it in ratio because the ratio is important. Oh, I could just lock this. That's cool. That's good enough. That's pretty good. And then maybe we'll grab one more brand element and
So in our version of the movie clip, the bride is actually coming to Raleigh?
I guess.
Coming to Raleigh to teach people about Blender. Let's say that. That's the goal.
How hardcore do I want to go on this? This is probably where I should try to cut myself off a little. Maybe I'll just do another brick. I'll do the long brick instead. Oh, do you have opinions on the slobbering wolf logo? That's, I think, one of the more divisive state logos. Some people love it and some people hate it.
I haven't even seen the slobbering wolf logo, so I would have to see it.
It's not in the official brand pack anymore. It was replaced by like the barrel-chested Tuffy is kind of a little more prominent. You see that.
Yeah, I've seen that one.
But this is, I think there's like a certain era of alumni who this is like what they think of as the state logo.
I mean, makes me wonder what is going on to create all of the slobber.
Yeah, like what is he looking at? His eyes are so obviously like looking at something.
Yeah, it's almost like, I don't know. I
gonna be the
could
RAM or
see it
something.
working for maybe a game or something like, you know.
This is the most recent place they used it. They put it on a football helmet this year, and it's like the first time they've used it in a long time. I think it's cool against the brick,
Yeah, that's interesting.
but I can see why it's not. You wouldn't want that on your research poster or something.
Definitely not. I would choose a different version of the wolf for research. so.
Yeah.
But it could also be an interesting point of inquiry too, like into the history of the university as a whole. So maybe if the project was about the NC State branding.
Yeah, that story is crazy of how that, like, what we think of as Tuffy, like the kind of anthropomorphized, I can never say that word with the right number of syllables, like how that came into being. It's like a student for the technician illustrated like a comic strip with Mr. Wolf in it in the like 50s or something. And then like 10 years later, they like licensed it from him and started using it as actual branding.
I did not know that story.
Yeah, I think it's cool that it's like very collegiate looking, I think.
Yeah.
Take this to a similar scale.
Are there universities that have their own planes? Now I wonder.
Is this one? It might, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know, it might be.
You could totally see how, you know, an R1 university like this, sending academics and different people all over the world, like it might be worth it. I don't know. Unequivocally, if you know anything about NC State's plane, please tell us, because I want to hear about your life. I want to hear what your interaction with the state plane is. So that looks fine. I'm doing a little bit of trickery here. If this was a game asset, I would need to do more here, because I need to like apply this to a cylinder or something and then find the right curve, but we're doing quick and dirty. So that we're only looking at it in profile, right? So that'll look fine. So I think I got a model there. I guess I'll do this. I forget where join is. And this is a hotkey, I should totally know, but.
Why'd the kangaroo show
My
up?
kangaroo came back. That's a good question. Why did that happen? I think it might be because I need to apply my modifier. And yeah, modifiers have the checkbox to show them in viewport. So I'm seeing the preview, but the calculation is like still being like stored in flash memory. Actually, sorry, I don't know what the memory dichotomy of Blender is, but it's still like a reversible thing, and that you can turn, it's still a preview. And so I think what happened is if you join things, it abandons the preview.
I see.
Control J, by the way, is trying. It's one of those easy hotkeys in Blender are things that only use 2 buttons. I was recently looking at Blender hotkey maps for VR Studio, and I could not find one that, like, as somebody already with some Blender familiarity, would be very handy to me. They're just the Control and Alt and Shift and like.
It's like playing the piano.
Yeah, seriously, yeah. Do you play piano?
No, not at all. I can play chopsticks, that's it.
So have you taken some lessons at some point in your life then? Or
Did I? No, I actually think someone just showed me how to play that particular song, probably because it's one of the easier songs to learn on a keyboard, but yeah, no official lessons. It's an amazing skill to have, though. I give all the respect to any musician.
It's like the composer's instrument, right? Because like it's so easy to write on, but like I spend a lot of time thinking about exactly how much like motor skill and like muscle memory goes into like having that basic familiarity.
For sure.
Musicians are incredible.
I want to learn how to play the drums. That's an instrument that I think, I don't know, it would just be cool to know how to play the drums and to create beats like outside of an app. Like I could do something in GarageBand or something similar.
Are you tempted by like MPC drums where you can like load samples to it and stuff?
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, those are pretty cool. yeah, in my era, when I was watching a lot of like Death Grips videos and stuff, I was like always amazed by exactly how much like velocity control and stuff you have by striking an NPC with a drumstick. I'm just trying to figure out exactly how long this shot is. Is it less than a second? Here, let's watch it at real speed. Oh no, it's just a bit. So it starts at 6 seconds. We can call it a 5-second clip.
I also wonder how they created that shot for the film, because that looks like a...
Oh, it's a model, right?
Yeah.
I think it's a model against a green screen. Because there's no cloud movement or anything at all. But like...
The plane is kind of moving like side to side.
I love that it rocks.
Yeah.
That's, I think, what sells the illusion a little bit. And there is some light movement.
Oh, yeah.
You see like the shadow of the tail pop up and separate from the rest of the shadows there. You're not tired of this trumpet sound yet.
How can you get tired of that though? Oh, maybe that's the soundtrack to this live stream. I'm sure we would get copyrighted for that though.
Yeah. What was I doing? Oh yeah, I'm just not. Okay, so let's say a 5-second shot at 60 FPS. So we'll make it a 300 frame animation. Here is where we make our backdrop. How hardcore do we want to go about this? Let's do the lighting. What do I want to do here? Do you have a good free to reuse image library or anything that you'd suggest?
I always use pexels.com.
PEX?
PEXELS.com.
Oh, yeah, these work really well. Yeah, like I can take the, let's find something that's really high res, but that's awesome. Google ruined this. When Google made image search just be like, what size image do you want? And it's just like large, medium, small. Like I want to be able to ask about aspect ratios, but. I don't know if I like some of those as much as
Yeah, they don't look...
I can settle for. And I also don't know what medium is. Like these might be 4K. Like I really like this one. Pixabay.
And if you click on the drop down, it'll give you, like you can choose what size.
Ooh, oh, these are fine. Yeah, 2736 by 3648. That's like as high res as I need. And I'm gonna crop it because I don't want the sun in it, but.
Yeah.
Cool. And then we'll use our import images planes. It gets funnier to me every time, actually.
I can see it. Definitely resembles the scene.
Yeah, and it's weird in the scene, the back, like, you know, Tarantino's weird because he's like trying to make his movies look bad sometimes to make them look like 70B movies. And this, I feel like he wants this pixelated, like how the background is kind of matte.
It does look very intentional. I mean, I guess I would say like probably everything is intentional in the film.
And then, since this is a plane, so you're like, Colin, how do I crop this image? You don't, because it's not an image anymore, it's a plane now. So what you need to do is you need to you can take it in edit mode, but look how simple it is. They've tried to simplify it as much as possible. It literally has 4 vertices. So you can select it all, and you can apply a modifier to it that's called subdivide, subdivision surface in this case. And now you can, actually, sorry, I didn't need subdivision surface. I need, I really need to go to a more consensus version of Blender controls. This is something I do have a custom hotkey I use for. Here we go, subdivide. And
I guess that's why it would have been good to be able to hook up to the laptop.
Yeah. So here I now have, I put a division in both planes there. I'm going to do that once more, and then I'll show you that you actually have a little more control there. And now, I don't really care about this. And that's going to make stretching it a little bit easier. So 4 times as big maybe, something like that. Felt a little aggressive, maybe. That'll do. So that's going to be our shot there. Here's a hotkey I do know. Control-Alt-0 is a very essential hotkey for me because it snaps the camera to what you're looking at. So now I can go into camera view. And I realize I actually want to back up a little.
So this is actually what would be in the clip?
Yep, the dotted line.
Okay.
That dotted line that you see there is the camera view. And it gives you a little perimetering, another thing I kind of have set different on my machine, but because it confuses me sometimes. But that's the shot, kind of. So we'll try. I mean, we're really tight on it in this. It's taking, what, 1/3 of the shot or something? Mm-hmm. And it's interesting, it never makes it into your left side third. So that's kind of cool. So maybe this needs to be a little tighter. Oh, I guess I also could do this.
Oh, so you're bringing the plane closer to the camera.
Yeah, because I want, there's like a forced perspective kind of thing happening where I was saying earlier, the clouds don't move. And as soon as I said that, I realized that's kind of silly. because like things that are moving quickly far away are appear, like a train that's moving 100 miles an hour and you're looking at it through binoculars will look like it's moving, or sorry, not if you're looking at binoculars, it won't look like it's moving very quickly because of the like warping of scale or whatever. So that's part of what I'm trying to recreate there. I think I even could bring it a little closer. That works. I'm not going to mess with it too much. So we're at frame 1. Barely in shot. And I will keyframe that. So to remind us, keyframing is done. That's what these little dots are next to any variable. So let's try to do the location, and then we'll try doing the rotation, because that little bit of wobble was cool, but we want it to be within the movement of the plane. So speed, we don't want any acceleration, because we're seeing the plane at full speed, and by the end of the shot, it's moving at full speed. So that's going to be like super easy. It's going to be like, let's look at how much of that nose is in the shot at the beginning. I'm actually just about, it's kind of like the cockpit is always visible. So it's a little more aggressive than I went. But our cockpit's not as darkened and visible, so maybe I'll put a little more. So here we go, location, we keyframe that. And then this is like really funny, but we essentially can just go to the last frame.
Oh, okay.
Because constant speed, like more keyframes will not help us with that. So let's see how far it comes over here. Well, we have so much more of the scene in this video than we're using. Okay, so the plane has just barely gone entirely in frame. So on 300, bring it to there. And one of our variables didn't change, obviously, because we didn't change the elevation or whatever. But yeah, it should now. And that's fine. I don't like how the NC State branding's not coming through at all. Yeah.
It's like very faint.
Yeah, it's like you're seeing the pixelation of the fact that I used kind of a cheat with the PNGs. So I'm gonna redo that. We'll bring it a lot closer to the shot. It won't look as exactly like the movie, but it will look straight up better. So, and we also can do something that they kind of couldn't do unless they were going to shoot at super high res and like crop, because they probably working with the model had to be a certain distance, right? I think they was this shot on film?
I'm not sure.
Knowing him, I kind of feel like all of his movies have been.
Yeah, I would imagine that there's some consistency.
He's the Kodak guy, right? Like, who made the commitment to buy Kodak film forever or whatever.
How did Tarantino film? This is volume 1.
It is.
Interesting.
The reason it looks like it's moving slowly, by the way, is because I said we were going to go to 60 FPS and I only set it to 30. So I'm going to fix that right now. Oh, I actually hit 24. It's easing weird. It's like slowing into place. I don't like that at all. I forget how to change easing in Blender's animation. Let me look that up.
I mean, he definitely references Super 8 movies when talking about making this film, so I'm sitting here reading the entire history of Kill Bill, Volume 1.
What do you remember being your like first awareness of the Kill Bill movies?
Ooh, that's a great question. I don't even know how old I was. I was definitely, was I in high school? What year did this come out?
Oh wait, 06? Oh no, early, 04?
Oh, okay, yeah, I was in elementary or middle school when this came out. Yeah, I just know that I think the first Quentin Tarantino film I ever watched was, I want to say Reservoir Dogs, but was it? I have terrible memory, clearly. But I think that I don't think I saw it in theaters. I feel like I saw it on TV or something. So I definitely saw the edited version that didn't have like everything that you see in the actual film until it came out or until we get to the point of like streaming.
Oh yeah, it was a totally like edited to hell kind of movie on TV. Yeah. Yeah, probably. You probably cut the runtime of the movie by 15 minutes.
I feel like I remember though getting the DVD of the movie though, so I might have seen the full director's cut like before streaming.
Yeah, that was like the golden era of like DVD bonus features and extra scenes.
Absolutely. But my favorite scene in this movie is definitely the fight between the bride and then Vivica Fox's character. I really love the colors in that scene, like the way that they set up the view of like the front yard, like everything in that scene is just really cool to me.
The sound design of all the fight scenes are just so cool.
Absolutely, yeah.
Like I'll never forget like the scene or sounds and how much like tension they build.
Yeah, that might be one of my favorite characters. They made it look easy to control that type of weapon, and I know that it's not that simple.
Okay, I'm just going to search ease. I should have gone about this the first time. So it is Graph Editor, which I don't use as often. So I'm going to need to reassociate myself with how to open that. Okay, you're a video editor. Maybe this will land for you. There's a phrase they use in Blender's animation tool called dope sheet. And I have never understood where that phrase comes from. Like, is that from some era of when film was getting cut or something?
I have no idea, but I can look it up.
Yeah, I would love to know that. There's like, I'm sure you see this in Creative Cloud all the time too. There's all these phrases that are definitely like referring to dark rooms or to like old film processes, and they don't really land for me very much.
Oh, funny. They're saying that they use this phrase in horse races, but also it's like an exposure sheet. So a traditional animation tool that allows an animator to organize their thinking and give instructions to the camera operator and how the animation is to be shot. It consists of 5 sections and is a bit longer and a bit narrower than A4. So I guess it's like a sheet that an animator would use to plan for.
Yeah, like a contact sheet or something. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. It's in preferences, default interpolation. Okay. I would not have found that.
They say it's also known as a crib sheet or an exposure sheet, camera instruction sheet. That's more straightforward.
Yeah, that is. Yeah, that feels much less industry term. What I might do is I didn't really follow my film fundamentals or animation fundamentals of moving through the mark very well. So I might go to a 360, like frame 360 and animate like the spot where the tail is leaving the shot. And then let's see. Easing won't matter as much because the shot ends there, but the animation goes through for another 1 second. I guess I could do the same thing. I like that. Does this is showing my inexperience with Premiere. Does Premiere have negative frames where you can make stuff happen before 0?
Ooh,
It's kind of handy.
I must be inexperienced with Premiere too because I do not know.
I find it's really nice when I've like blocked an entire shot out and then realized I've screwed something up on frame 1 and I can fix like that you don't feel like Kramer was standing right behind the door. Like you feel like he's actually has momentum.
I almost feel like that might be something you can do in After Effects as well.
Okay, well this might be pretty close to the shot. Right here, I'm gonna do some lighting stuff, but.
Cool. Yeah, I think that's pretty close if you ask me.
Yeah, I'm gonna throw like a red glowing orb down out of shot so that we're getting some, and then maybe I'll do like a directional light because you know the sun as it sets is getting like as if there's a reflector above you or whatever. Lighting is not really my strong point. It's something I'm trying to work on.
You're saying that, but then I've seen you do amazing things with lighting.
Thank you. VR really breaks your brain on lighting a little bit because you get so used to like there's already so much computing happening that you need to fake lighting, but then you can't fake lighting. If somebody can pick the lamp up, you can no longer, it can't be a fake light anymore, you know? So I'm trying to unteach myself some of that. So I guess we put the sun. It's actually kind of nice that I have the little top of the sun here because I can do something like this.
Ooh.
Or that maybe. And then I can add. And giving these colors was actually gonna
Recreating this scene definitely makes me want to re-watch Kill Bill just to see all of the cool effects that they used.
My sister said she rewatched Terminator 2.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think we're both kind of on a big James Cameron kick right now after Avatar. And it makes me want to go watch Aliens. You like Aliens? Yeah.
That's one of my mom's favorite movies.
So good. Yeah, people who are older than us, I think like if you're our age, like every movie has a sequel, right? Like,
Yeah.
you either get canceled before it came out or it has like 7 movies. I think like people our parents' age, like the idea that a sequel was good or was actually better than the first one is like so foreign.
Like even the movies that don't have sequels yet are going to have sequels
Yeah.
at this point.
So many movies where you watch them, it's just like, oh, this was made so they can make a sequel.
Yep.
Wow, that looks so much better in full render. I might slow it. I think I'm getting a lot of motion blurring because I'm moving it too fast. I might move down to 24 frames per second. No, that looks worse. The motion blurring of the PNG is fighting kind of against the motion blurring of the low poly thing. I do want to go to 3840 though, because I'm a nerd. Okay, that's fine. I'll render it. Could be better, but let's say
You
this.
always say that though.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of just anything you ever make, right? It's like, you can always
Could be better.
put another 10% of time into it, but are you getting 10% return? Who knows? Air, NCSU, Kill Bill, shot. And we're gonna render in EV as much as I want to render in cycles. We're not gonna do it. We're not gonna spend the rest of the stream watching this go 10% through a render. And did I actually put the FPS back? No, I did not.
I really think it looks good though. Like
The stills look better than the animation does. That's what's driving me crazy is, oh, you know what we didn't do? We didn't add the wobble.
oh yeah, we need that.
That is very important.
It's an essential part of that scene.
So let's kind of see where the wobbles happen. It comes in, it tips towards us.
And then a little bit away.
Yeah, it's so funny. It is, oh, there's like oh, that's so cool. I wonder if someone's holding that, or if it's on a photo rail, or what that is, how they do that.
I don't know. They said something on the Wikipedia about not using computer-generated imagery.
Oh, wow.
So I have
So-
no clue what. Yeah. They said they were using like some kind of old school like Chinese film strategies or methods.
Oh, like from, like, those were, yeah, they were Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, and this movie at the same time kind of brought a lot of that, like, high wire and, like, wire-based stuff over into American cinema. A type of nerd I'm trying to become is like a model making. I have a lot of friends who are like into model making, and it just seems like if you're into digital media stuff, like if you can fabricate your own models, like you get so much more powerful in terms of what you can do.
I always wondered what materials would you use to make certain things. Like if you're trying to create a model of an airplane, do you just buy that? and then paint it? Like how does that work?
Yeah, like this is where not having a quality NC State College of Design education personally, I haven't worked with like physical materials in like that way, you know, like where I feel like I have that competency. I'm going to go a little more severe on our tip just to kind of make the point of what we're trying to do. So I did that 90. I'm going to try to stay off the off the 30s or whatever. Well, that's going to feel really severe. I actually don't like that. Okay, that way. And it straightens out too much.
It's like just straighten it out after.
Yeah, it's like, I think I need to here maybe like take it a little to the other direction. But I am worried that I'm making these too severe. That you're gonna just picture the bride on the plane getting like thrown around. That's fine though.
Yeah, it gives the same effect. It's not as subtle, but
My acting wasn't subtle either though,
yeah,
like Uma's.
this is a more dramatized version of the Kill Bill scene.
Okay, cool. I'm gonna render because I want to leave you some time to do what you want to do.
One step at a time.
This won't take so much GPU that you can't start what you need to do, I don't think. It can run in the background.
Okay. Let's see how this works out. Oops. All right, so while this is rendering, we're gonna go back into Premiere Pro, where the rest of our project is. I hear the computer working.
Yeah, the computer's making airplane sound effects for us.
Okay, so doesn't want to let me make that bigger, but that's fine. So, just to kind of give a recap of where we were, we already had the beginning of the scene. We were pretty much leaving all of this the way it was. But this is where we were trying to do some color grading so that we could actually get that sunset effect in the window, since we didn't have that in the original footage. So, since our last stream, I found out that I could possibly do this in Adobe After Effects. I'm going to attempt to do it in After Effects, and we're going to see if this works out. So I'm going to go back to the original clip that I had, just because, and let me make sure that this is the last scene that we see. Yeah, so it's the last scene. We just have our main character looking out of the window. I'm actually gonna delete what we originally had, and I'm going to bring that back in. So I'm again selecting in and out points. My hand was not that steady when I was holding the camera. So I'm gonna go ahead and select any point here. And let's do our out point once we're back in the same position. And I only want the video, so I'm gonna drag video only and snap that right there. All right, so I watched a tutorial about rotoscoping in Adobe After Effects, and it's essentially this tool where you can select a subject or a part of your footage and you can just isolate that from the rest of it. So I'm hoping that will work out for trying to create this like color graded effect. It would also be interesting if we could find a background that had like a sunset in the back through the window. I don't think we'll have enough time to do all of that, but we can at least try to separate or isolate our subject and do our color grading. So first we have to nest our sequence. I'm just gonna put, let's call it window seat in honor of Erykah Badu. Next we are, okay, so I was afraid this was gonna happen. So the second step is actually selecting replace with After Effects composition so that I can bring this clip into After Effects kind of seamlessly without having to like edit it separately in After Effects. But it's not letting me do that, probably because I just installed After Effects to this computer. So I think there might be an issue with connecting or linking the two apps. So for the sake of time, let's see if we can just, what did I just click? Let's see if we can just do this in Adobe After Effects and then bring it in here. Hopefully the frame rate and everything is not an issue, because that was one of the things that the tutorial said to look out for. And also just to give a shout out to the person who created this tutorial. It's from Venter Visuals, VENTER Visuals, and it was a really helpful tutorial about rotoscoping in Adobe After Effects. So I need a new file. I honestly have no idea where we saved everything.
Oh, are you looking, the R files?
Yeah.
Yeah, they might be in videos.
Let's see.
But if you right-click the thing you were just looking at, it also lets you see file location.
Ooh. Yeah, because it's not. Probably also go to my media browser. Okay, so I had MVI_0174, and that is in downloads. All right, so I've got my clip. The Roto Brush tool is this little icon that looks like a person with a paintbrush beside it. And if you've ever used, what's the similar tool to this? If you've ever used Photoshop, they have this select subject tool that's kind of similar to this. So first thing I need to do is actually put it on my timeline as a sequence. So now I have it on here, and I'm gonna try to use my rotoscoping tool or roto brush tool.
I've been using a video editor that like its main feature is being able to like reverse green screen stuff that wasn't shot
Really?
against
What
the
is
green
it
screen.
called?
Runway ML. It's a in browser.
Should have used that.
My license for it is kind of specific, but and also you there's a lot of like you tell it to render and it's like okay, come back tomorrow because it's happening on the web. But it is crazy how much it changes your mind on like the workflow of things. Like you never like doing this masking, you can just separate it into 2 videos and overlay them against each other and stuff.
It's actually very helpful. I feel like there's some other app that I was looking at where you can do that reverse green screen effect as well. I just don't know if it was free. That's the only thing.
It makes sense that like machine learning and AI would really speed that up if it can think about each frame, kind of.
Definitely. Okay, so clearly I'm not selecting right. Okay, so I'm just trying to get Colin's face. From what I saw, all you need to do is like kind of get the shape of the person and it selects it for you. So as we can see, the hair is not fully selected, but that's okay. I don't think we have to make it perfect.
I think the nose is going to be the tell. If you miss the nose, it might show, but the hair will not, I don't think.
Okay, so, and I also think we can use like reduce chatter and some other tools to like fix that as that goes on, but I don't know. Let's see if it stays on Colin's face. Oh,
Wow,
it actually
it's
is.
really good.
Okay, so I got this far. Now the question is actually creating a transparent background, which I think I'm gonna have to look this up because I do not remember exactly how to separate from the background. So let's see. How long do we have?
20 minutes, 15 minutes, something like that.
Transparent background. I should have gone to that Reddit thread. That looked like the exact question I had. So, how did I make the background of a clip? I roto-brushed transparent. That's exactly what I want to do. And of course, all they do is give sarcastic responses. Nothing to actually.
Yeah, Reddit troubleshooting goes one way or the other.
Thank you so much, Reddit.
Either the person who made the software drops in and is like, oh, here's the perfect answer, or they meme at you.
And really, the tutorial that I watched explains how to do this perfectly. I just can't play it while I'm doing a stream. So I don't need to refine my selection. Start the propagation by pressing the space bar. Already did that. Freeze the propagation. I think that's what I need to do. Okay, so let's go back here. I don't know if I need to bring my...
Oh, so this is like the same concept as applying your modifier.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know how to explain that in expert terms, but
Yeah, just taking
the
it.
same idea.
Yeah, that's interesting.
And this is actually the first time I'm even doing this, so yeah. Okay, so we froze that. I'm assuming that means that it's now stuck in place and we don't have to make any more adjustments. Of course, they say nothing about actually separating it from the background, which is what I need to do. Let's go back to I was gonna see if I could just move it. I don't think I can.
Oh, like it's a separate element now or something?
Yeah. I don't want this green thing showing up. guess let's see if we can do like, possibly do color grading in here. Why is there nothing in our Lumetri scopes? Okay, yeah, I'm gonna have to go back to my. Does this do something? Yeah, these tools look like they help with your masking. Which I'm good on that. I don't need anything else with that. Okay, so it looks like we have the same color correction tools that we have in Adobe Premiere Pro. Actually, it looks like there may be more here than I even saw in Premiere Pro. And I am not an expert on Adobe After Effects, so please know that.
Oh, that's cool.
I don't know what I just did just now, but it looks
Well,
like
it shows it's definitely a separate layer. I'm not the one who does the video editing in like the collective that I work with, but our guy who does is always just saying that you might as well delete Premiere because After Effects has eaten all its functionality.
I feel like After Effects has way more, I don't know, you can do a lot more in After Effects than you can do in Premiere Pro from what I've been learning. And actually I need to credit somebody for even directing me to After Effects for this part of the live, because I did ask Darian, who also works in the libraries, about this, and who is more of an expert in After Effects than I am. And he's the one who told me to use the Roto brush. So that's how I found out about it. I really don't know what I did to make this black background. I probably need to undo that though. It's looking like I can't. Let's just go back to the window we were originally in. And let's go back to Google. Maybe we can export with a transparent background. Everything's a video. See, like that's what doesn't help. Oh, of course, the whole time I could have just rendered it and selected transparent background. Yeah. Let's do that. Ooh, I just don't know if I export this, if it's gonna mess up what I had. Yeah, this is where things get tricky. I don't want to save it as an After Effects project. Let's just try to export as a Premiere Pro. Selected subject. Okay, with that. It's not giving you any type of save settings. That's why. I don't know. I don't know what to select. I don't want a QuickTime video. It's not gonna hit me. Let's just try it. Which folder do we have? Just put it on desktop.
Nice.
I don't know how this is gonna come out, but we'll see. I heard a sound. I feel like that might mean that it's done. Oh, great. Wrong format. Yeah, see, this is helpful, but I
If you
almost
try
feel
watching
like
it
what I
in-
was
Sorry.
Say that again.
If you try watching it in MPC-HC, it might have wider file format support. If you like right-click Open With, I saw that it was one of the programs on there. I was also having worries that I rendered to the wrong format. Yeah.
Okay. See, this is what I want. I just don't want a black background. That's the
It's
only
also, is it dark?
Yeah, it's like it made everything darker.
Or it's
And
just
then
that
plus my-
without, yeah.
My actual mask is not that great either. Like, this is definitely a could have been better situation, or it could be better, I should say. Now I wonder if I like restart this. I don't know. Let's see if I can go to my desktop.
I'm feeling like we're doing a Kill Bill trilogy. I think we're doing a third stream on this.
Yeah, I don't know if we're gonna be able to finish. I feel like I made better progress here, but I just don't have the actual transparency that I need, and then I need to refine my mask. Like, this is not good at all. I honestly feel like it kind of looked better when I used the pen tool to create my own mask. See if I go back into my history. See, all I want, Adobe, is for you to put the tools that you have in After Effects into Adobe Premiere Pro. If you watch this, if anybody from Adobe sees this, please take our advice because it would be very helpful. So this is what it looked like before when I created my own mask. I want to have this same effect, but I want to use the roto brush for that. So I definitely feel like I need to play around with this more to actually like get what I want. I wonder if there's a way to like layer this so that it wouldn't, so I could still have my color grading that I did. I don't know. Again, somebody in the comments, let us know if I'm on to something. Am I doing anything better? I don't know. I'm gonna go back to this and at least see if I can.
Is that a timer? Is that kicking us off stream?
No, I have I actually have a Zoom meeting.
Oh yeah,
At 3
at 3. I'm on the desk at 3.
Yes.
That might be a good cue for us to wrap it
And
up
we're gonna
then.
have to just save, and we're gonna have to come back to this.
We're finishing this one next time though. I'm very
Yeah,
confident
there's
in it.
no way we are not finishing it. Okay, let me save this as roto brush. I'll save it in downloads since everything else is there. Okay.
Ooh, did my video render?
Let's see.
It'll be in videos, I think. I think I made a folder for it.
The Kill Bill airplane
Yeah.
shot.
Oh, I got all my frames. I just gotta actually render them into a video. Okay, I can do that next time.
Okay, so I think in our next video, we'll actually, for one, we'll be able to show what this rendered version of the airplane shot looks like. And then we'll also be able to select our subject, do the color grading. I'll play around more with Roto Brush so I actually know what I'm doing next time to create my transparent background. And then trying to do this similar like orange sunset situation. So that's what we'll be doing in the next part of this 3-part series, which at this point we could have done Kill Bill Volume 1, Volume 2, and a bunch of other Quentin Tarantino films. But yeah, that's where we're at right now. So
We're back on St. Patrick's Day, March 17th, Friday.
join us. Make sure that you don't miss the outcome of this very intricate project that I think is going to have a really good outcome in the end, personally. All right, so with
Thanks,
that,
Ariane, for setting us up with our cameras and everything.
yes, props to you. Y'all don't know what goes on behind the scenes, but a lot does. All right, and I guess we're going to stop